Hi, I'm Adam Meyer of Mill City Lutheran in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and today I have a not very complex repair, but it's something that happens often enough, and when it happens to people's guitars, like this scratch here, they get a little worried that there can be anything done to save it. And that is when you have it plugged in, and you end up punching out the jack. Damage here on the side. Just back when these guitars were designed originally, there wasn't a different type of jack that could fit all the way through the thick heel block of the guitar, so they just put it on the side. This happens to a lot. I'm going to have what's a relatively easy repair for this without doing any sort of finish touch-up. The deal is this is not something from the 1950s or 60s where we're going to be trying to hide anything with finish touch-up and get it back perfectly original. This is just kind of a regular repair to get it back to the customers as quickly as you can, and with budget in mind. Okay, this being a modern guitar, it is not sprayed with nitrocellulose finish or anything that we can burn back together. Trying to patch up the color here is going to be next to impossible, and you're going to have all sorts of witness lines where new finish meets old finish. So the idea is to take a Les Paul jack plate and get it to hide the damage there. And the jack will now mount on this metal jack plate. But we've got to do a few things first. I'm going to draw this out so that it covers all the finish. I'm going to have to check, make sure it doesn't peek out over there, or whatever way. Get it centered between the binding because we want it to look professional. I'm going to make sure and use things like your machinist square to make sure it's lined up correctly and everything. Once we have that, then obviously we're not going to cut out the side of the guitar to match the size of this. It's only going to be so that the jack does not touch the body. It mounts on here so that you can easily pull the jack in and out. Once I have created that hole, I'm going to mark the holes for mounting the jack plate, and I'm also going to try and get some wood, little scraps of wood inside to glue to the side so that there's something more than just this thin side wood for the screws to mount the jack plate to, just to add a little rigidity and some strength so that hopefully this never happens to this guitar again. Alright, as you can see, I've marked this off with tape. It's all centered, even between the edge of the binding, squared up this way. Mount a jack on. What I need to do is enlarge this so that the jack will fit through, and I can then mount this onto the side of the guitar. Obviously, I'm not taking all the way out to the corners. I want to stay within the tape so that everything remains covered. So I'm going to start off with the Dremel, make sure I have vacuum to collect the dust, and show you the progress after. Alright, so this hole is all to size, and I marked out my 4 screw holes for mounting it. What I want to do after that is reinforce the side, because I'm going to be putting screws in there. I don't want this breaking again. I did the job. I want the job to last. So I'm going to add some wood. Just took some popsicle stick, and you stick your finger inside here, feel there's some purfling. So I've gone through and I've trimmed it to fit in between those two pieces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little glue on there, work it around, get it in place. And it's going to end up where it's, it's going to be a little bit like that. So I'll then go back with the Dremel again and trim, because I want to make sure I have wood where the screws are. If I try to match the size of that, I'm not really catching it with the screws. So it's going to be kind of like that. So get that put in. and then we'll get the jack mounted. Here is the final result before installing the jack. You can see there's a little bit of wood there that I installed. Not only that, but once I drilled the holes for the jack plate, bevel back the finish with a taper bit on your Dremel. And I also soak those holes with some super glue to make sure that none of the wood that the screws thread into is going to crack. Definitely a lot stronger than it was before, and the idea of adding that extra wood there, I now have the screws threading mostly into wood, not into just a little bit of wood and then a lot of air. So this is definitely going to be a lot stronger than ever before. Here's the final result. Jack is soldered in now, mounted on the side, all squared up nice. Everything is reinforced with the wood inside, and also I added some glue into the screw holes. Snaps in really well. New jack as well. Not going to bother with doing this type of repair and then leaving in this, well, it's corroded anyways, but it's also pretty weak. Might as well just put in a nice new Switchcraft jack. So if you have this happen to your guitar, it's not something to stress about. Just get it into the shop, a reputable shop. Make sure they go through this method, and guitar will be just fine.